Sunday broadcast. I think we are going live on Facebook. Hey, Facebook. Hey, YouTube. Jessica Alstrom here, giving you guys your energy update for July 2021. This year has gone by so crazy fast already. I know we're like all going, how's it July? And last year seemed to like drag on, right? Well, this is a very important month, as each and every one has been. People ask me all the time, where are we in the Ascension? Where are we with the energy? What's happening? What's happening with me? So I thought, you know what, we'll just give you a all-inclusive, where are we now type of thing, kind of a check-in to see where we have come full circle from this time last year. Very important marker in time. We are obviously evolving. Yes, evolving. We're having growing pains. We're facing challenges. We're overcoming obstacles. We're facing our ugly baggage from the past that we just can't seem to escape. And to kind of sum that up in more of a quantum, a quantum looking perspective of where we are versus a spiritual perspective, I like to give you guys the quantum perspective because it's all inclusive. You know, it's not really attached to any particular prophecy or anything like that. It's more of just an understanding of the kind of universal collection of consistent energy downloads where we are. So if you're just hearing me for the first time, I'm Jess, and I have a online academy that I teach international, all from my house here in Kansas and my farm in Missouri. And we are broadcasting all over the world, basically assisting and guiding people into their self-realization journey through self-awareness. You know, really that's what it is all about. You know, I was talking to you guys about this last week in a live that I did about, you know, how are we the most efficient biocomputer in the universe, this human body that was designed so specifically for evolution. And a lot of us are still using about 10% of our brain, right? How is that possible? Well, it all comes down to focus. And if you do understand quantum mechanics even this much, you understand that what you focus on grows, it becomes, it attracts. So what we are focused on is happening. And most of us are still unconsciously focused about 40% on the past. Now, because we're focused on the past, we are kind of jumping, skipping, hopping over the present moment like it's hot lava, and we are jumping into the future, right? Wondering, is it going to be? Is it going to be? Could it be? You know, and that's where we get kind of that uncertainty. We get a lack of clarity, and we lose trust for our footing because, again, we're kind of hopping back and forth. And because we're using so much of our focus determines our belief systems about who and what we are. So if I'm focused on a reality that I don't prefer, I may feel different inside about who I am to that story, but biologically, through power of focus, it's influencing me. It has an influence on me, and therefore I might take that into consideration, even if I don't say I'm taking it into consideration, and add it into my world and create a reality based on it. So that's why I'm always saying, eyes on your own paper, eyes on your own paper, eyes on your own paper, because when our eyes are on our own paper, we are not wondering, you know, why so-and-so has that, or how come so-and-so can't wake up, or, you know, how come he can feel more than I can feel, or how come, you know, his gifts are opening and mine aren't, or how come I'm still going through this, right? So if my eyes were on my own paper, I would know why, because I would be studying my circumstances, which are and is my curriculum. You know, my reality is my guru. That tells me where I'm vibrating. It tells me where my reflections are and where I'm projecting outwardly in coherence to what I believe I see. So where we are right now, technically, I'm going to give you the technical experience, was we are moving through the fourth phase. The fourth phase of Ascension kind of works in a fourth grade sum up of we are unpacking some major baggage. And what that means is that because we are four very distinct currencies or collections of frequency, vibration, and consciousness, that it is kind of broken down into density. Okay, so we have a super consciousness, which is, you know, you've heard of it, the I am, or the all-knowing, the creator within. Okay, the one who knows it all that's within you, that higher self. And then we have that right below that, which is a conscious self. Now, this conscious self is the self that believes that it is the self. It is constantly taking analysis of data around it and deciding based on circumstances, events, people, places, and things, and the past, with a little trace imagination of what it could be, decides that which I am. Now, that focusing is bringing you into, hopefully, your present moment. But a lot of times that conscious self drags you to the past because, again, what you are conscious of is where you want to be. So your consciousness is actually designed out of desire. And what is desire? Lack. So if my conscious self is always in lack, what do you think I'm attracting? And if I'm lacking, why am I lacking? Probably because I am not focused in what I have currently. I'm focused in the past. And if I'm focused in the past, guaranteed, I'm also focused in the future, which leaves me anywhere between 10 and 20% to be here effectively now, which is why I just missed my exit when I turn off the turnpike, right? Or I, forget to pick something up because I am physically focused everywhere but here. Now, I would say half the planet is living there. The other half is really working to bring themselves into this present moment where all of the magic, all the miracles, all the potential, all the answers, all the solutions, all the quantum leaps, right? All the downloads, all of the information, all the freedom, all the abundance truly exist. Okay. And because time is not technically linear, the past and future don't really exist either. So we're wasting our currency of focus, which is right now is where we are. So if we are kind of split into two divisions of consciousness right now, although we have four, the second idea of consciousness is that conscious self, the self that believes that it is. Now, right below that is the subconscious, which is a very, very vast ocean of consciousness. This is where your biological consciousness is. This is where your childhood consciousness is. This is where all of your memories, all of your what ifs, could be's, your failures, your successes, your victories, your traumas, your desires left unfulfilled, okay, your lower emotional baggage, right? And what lower emotional baggage is it's fear, guilt, shame, humiliation, and resentment. Those are where all of those files are. Now, subconscious also has biological potential. It has a genetic code of unlimited potential as well. And it has remembrance of all that it has ever been connected to. So it has a lot of information regarding genetics and biological compound structures, information, consciousness on nature. Right? The world that you live in. That is your subconscious. It is below the surface, which was like, where is it? Don't need it unless you need it, right? Now, that's number 3. Under that, there's another one, right? This would be called the abyss. This level of consciousness is what we call unconscious. And a lot of times it is because it is not data that we believe that we are coherently pulling from in our physical realities to live, okay? But it is a vast level of information and awareness that is very deep within your bone structure, into your blueprint of your genetic build. It is your subatomic space. It is your lifeline, your blood. It is your lineage, your gender, your ancestors, right? And if you believe in the woo-woo stuff, it is also everything that has ever been in your Akashic space, your Akashic records, which is all of your basically bloodline through all of your timelines, which is all of your realities that you are basically coherently, if not unconsciously having now. And it all feeds into a system called the body, which is the most advanced supercomputer in the universe because it is about learning, but it is also about evolving from its own awareness of itself, right? The stories of God consciousness or the universe consciousness is that what it wanted to experience itself. So it needed to create a little time space separation so that it could see itself. Welcome to your human body. Your human body is a biological reference point of the mindset, superconscious and unconscious, and it is a feedback system. Your projector system that you are using for your 5 senses lets you know who you are in your space, and it lets you know what experience you're having based on the sensation and hormonal reactions between basically your higher self and your lower self, all happening in your body. So you can see how your bodies are so important right now. So important right now. It's probably why you keep getting smacked into it, right? So if the body is so important, as it always has been, we have a tendency to kind of jump out, right, and not pay attention so much to it and try to work in our circumstances and through other people and places and money and events, and it doesn't really work out very well from us. But if we would use our inner selves, we would work out inside, then what we would notice is that we can control the entire virtual reality basically from inside. Right? It's like that scene in Men in Black where they open up the body and there's like little tiny aliens sitting in there driving a car, like, woo, like that's us. Okay. And we are that idea of the man behind the wheel. Now, we know that there are conscious drivers and there are unconscious drivers. Which ones irritate you more? The unconscious drivers. So we're walking around in these bodies where we are not really paying attention. We're on the phone, we're eating, we're juggling, we're driving with our need, we're crashing into everything. And that's half the planet. The other half of the planet is literally going, okay, what am I? Who am I? Why is this happening? How do I create my reality? And that is most of us, hopefully, well, half of us at least. And then I would say even in less percentage of that is actually figuring it out. Because as we were working in these levels of consciousness, from the highest to the lowest, to the integration point, that are all basically separated, but calculated and connected through our chakra system. This is our universal connection of our own expression and our satellite system between the deepest parts of the earth and the cosmos, that are all connected through basically frequency and vibration of our subatomic space that makes up our bodies. So July 2021, we are in a stage of evolution where we are unpacking the baggage. Boring, but super exciting, because we are unpacking the unconscious baggage, which means look at how much great work we've done. We've unpacked a lot of our conscious awareness, which means we began asking questions about why I am the way I am and why do I do the things that I do, right? And then we went into the subconscious. We were like, it was my childhood, right? My parents. Okay. Then we went a little deeper and we were like, okay, maybe it's me who created my parents, right? Oh, shoot, that's more responsibility. If I created my parents, why did my parents do this, right? So now we're asking all these deeper questions, and now we're going down to the abyss where it's hard to breathe. So that is the level of baggage that we are technically unpacking right now in this time and space of this part of our gradual enlightenment that is happening from us lightening up. See, as we unpack all of this very, very locked information that has been stored in our body, we are creating space. And as we create space, right, those bags get lighter and they get cheaper when you fly, right? It's like you don't have to pay so much money for them to go, and they're not so heavy and dense. So as we lighten up, we are making space for new information, which if we make space, we lighten up. And if we lighten up, we can get to a higher frequency. And if we get to a higher frequency, super consciousness can now work directly in and with the body, instead of like, sending conscious mind a text message through a synchronicity or 555-111, right? Super consciousness can actually be in the body, working with tangibly the brain, the heart, the coherence of the spine, to utilize the active Kundalini space to basically become the superhuman, right? The superhero myths are all true. And here we are on Earth at this time and space where the 6th dimension is saying, hey, is anybody ready? All you're going to need to come to the 6th dimension is complete trust in yourself, complete knowledge of self, full integration of the lower self and higher self in the physical body, all purification of lower energy densities, such as purged old emotions stored at a biological level that are weighing you down, right? You need a good, solid, self-loving relationship with yourself, and you need desire that is not based in lack. Right? That's all things we need for 6th dimension. So you can see why the purpose of the 5th dimension is so important, because we are here to unload and repack. Okay. We're here to go, this no longer serves me. This wants to stay. This goes. These dirty underwear go get cleaned. This crystal that I found, 2 weeks ago is going with me. And we are repacking a basically backpack instead of giant luggage. And we are remembering, putting ourselves back together. See, there's 4 levels of consciousness, but technically there is no separation in the universe. So if we are going to become fully embodied beings, then what happens is all 4 levels of the consciousness need to integrate into one. Into the one. You keep hearing about the one, the unity. You think it's about me unifying with that guy over there. No, it's about me unifying with me. And if my superconscious knows that everything is perfect, and my unconscious mind, all the way down in the 4th density, thinks that nothing is perfect, you can see how one of me is going this way and the other way is going that way. We call it the 10 steps forward, 10 steps back dance. And it feels like idle, feels like walls are, in front of me. It feels like someone's got my money. It feels like nobody understands me. No, that person's not hearing me. This person's attacking me. And that's what it will feel like from a projection of your focal point of your 5 senses. So I have a little experiment to take you guys through right now to find out exactly where you are. Everybody can join with me. Super easy. So I got this funny retainer on my teeth, so I got a little lisp, but that's cool. I'm good with it. All right. So we have a little experiment, and this is going to allow you as the observer to see where you are physically focused right now. All right. So in the idea of consciousness, you have to understand that it's a stream of light, just like electricity. Okay. And it's moving, it's flowing. It's flowing in the direction of the current, which means it's going where it's going. It's flowing, right? It's not stopped. It's waiting for the doctor. It's not waiting for somebody to pick. It's flowing. Always, 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 no matter what, it's flowing. So when it appears like it's not flowing, where is it actually going, right? If you've seen a roaring river, right, it's real solid and it's just moving. But what happens if that river kind of breaks off in streams, okay? So by the time the river would end, it would be a trickle. Yes, well, welcome to yourself until you move back into that river. So let's look at this idea of light. Light is consciousness. It is information. It's beingness. It's alive. It's having experience of existence. It's all that is. It's creation waiting to formulate. It's particles that are dancing around, deciding who it is, and it is flowing, right? So we've got this energy stream. Now, because we kind of like to break it down into a real understandable way to break down quantum mechanics, at least in our academy here, is we kind of break down those 4 levels of consciousness that you are having are basically split into 3 different selves. That's why you feel like you have split personality sometimes, right? You've got a me, a myself, and I. And if you guys know me, you already know this, but time over equals certainty. So here we go. You've got a lower self, aka, named ego, or the me, my ego, mine, you're mine, this is mine, that was mine, I lost that, I need that, right? That's me, ego. Myself is what we would call the inner child. The inner child is the conduit of the body. That is the kind of mediator between the it's mine and nothing's mine, super consciousness, right? It is the one that desires to have experiences and adventure, and it is the all imagination of the truest, purest part of you. Now, the super consciousness is the part of you that's already complete on the other side, looking back over yourself through memories, fully complete, fully sovereign, fully integrated, fully into the oneness of all that is, creator. So we got 4 levels of consciousness, and we got 3 identification points. Okay, so we got 3 streams of light. All right, now we've created these 3 streams of light out of dysfunction and separation and conflict and misinformation and indoctrination and disassociation. Welcome to Earth. So now you're 3 forms of light instead of 1, right? Now we're 3. Whoop, right here. So imagine 1 is going left, 1's going right, and 1's going straight. Close your eyes. Okay, imagine that you are these 3 streams of light. You've got 1 going left, 1 going right, and 1 going straight. Okay, so we got 3 lines of light. Now, take a deep breath, and within 3 seconds, I want you to tell me, whether through your mind or words, when I ask you to choose one of these paths of light to go on. In 3 seconds, which one does your intuition tell you to follow? Am I supposed to go left? Am I supposed to go right? Or am I supposed to go straight? Okay. Now, there's nothing attached to these three streams. You have no idea where either one of them lead. You have complete uncertainty. You have no knowledge of where any of it, because after the light, it gets dark, which means you don't know. You got to feel it. So is your mind telling you where to go? Is your heart telling you where to go? Or is your gut telling you where to go? There's the three streams of consciousness again. The me, right? The myself, and the I, right? So if we have those three forms of light, which one are you following? Okay. Well, I'm going to give you the answer. You can't get it wrong. You're perfect for whatever choice that you're at, because it will bring you back around. Because even though each line of frequency of light that is permeating from you, following the direction of your belief systems, is going to basically take you in a big fat circle. So it doesn't really matter where you're going, except if you go straight. All right. Now, why straight? Well, left, right, is what did I leave behind? Right? It's like, what did I leave? Yeah, it's like the past. Okay. The future is over there, and now is here. So some of you are like, I go straight. Some of you are like, no, I always like to go on the left. I always like to go to your right. So you'll see where your intuition, whether you're a mental intuitive, a logical intuitive, a heart intuitive, a spiritual intuitive, emotional intuitive, your first 3 seconds, one version of you that is the path of least resistance decided where it should go, and that is either taking you to a dominant focal point. Now, if you went into the past, you were supposed to go to the past. Here's why. If your intuition told you to get into the past, it's perfect. Here's why. There's something in the past that needs to be refocused into the present moment. Okay, there's something happening now that feels like the past, that is the past, that's taking you out of the present moment back to the past. Now, if you're focused on the future, it is because usually there's something in the past that you are anticipating happening or not wanting to happen. Because if you were in the present moment, you would not care about the future at all. That sounds so irresponsible. But if you know what you know that you know that you know all there is, then your life is for this present moment and you don't want this to end. You're in a movie, watching a movie. You don't want to go outside in the hallway back to your real life. You want to be in this experience. So your desire point, mostly 90% of the time, should be in this present moment. But your ego, the me, the mine, what I have, what I've lost, what I need, is so obsessed with unfulfilled desires, questions, mysteries, confusions, uncertainties, and fear that it has a hard time allowing you to be in the present moment, because the present moment feels like a wall. It feels like a block point. It feels like uncertainty. It feels like no fun. It feels like, well, in 5 minutes, something better is going to happen. And that's really what we have, a trauma or a tragedy of the present moment a lot of times, if we have unfulfilled consciousness focused in the past. Now, people tell you, let go of the past. It doesn't exist. BS. It completely exists, and you can, in fact, change it. Right? You can change it 100% because it's your focus. It's your story. It's your light. It's your information. So if you want to recalibrate that with a different frequency, you can. It will only exist in the timeline of that which believes it exists, which means that if you stop focusing on it secretly, everybody else will leave you alone about it too. You're like, gosh, I can't get back to my past. I'm living this new life here and everybody keeps bringing up my past. No, somewhere you are still focused over there. Like, don't look at that. That's not me anymore. There's resistance. Resistance is one light. Okay. Right. Need is one light. Need that to stay away. Need that to go away. Need, want, inner child. Right. I want what I want. Ice cream before dinner. Doesn't make sense. I just love it. Great. For a future moment. Oh, your tummy's going to hurt if you eat the ice cream before your dinner. Okay. So where do you choose to be? Well, really, realistically, there should only be one light. And the past, the future, will merge into the present moment. And instead of using the past as a material to build a wall or to turn your volume down because bad stuff could happen or something's happening over there, then what you're going to do is you're going to turn your light all the way up, and all three of those lights are going to focus into one stream. Okay, now let's take this same analogy in a household mechanism that you have to really clarify this meaning, because I know when I'm like talking about lights going this way and you're like, I need a visual here. Okay, so your visual is a lamp, right? You have a lamp in your house. Your lamp has a purpose. It is to illuminate a room. It has a very specific purpose. It does not have the purpose of the toaster. It has the purpose of the lamp. It cannot toast your toast, but it can light up your room. Very important. So a lamp's job is to illuminate, right? And it will do it in its best way it can, but it will need two things, won't it? It will need a electrical current or some sort of frequency that will move through it, right? And it will need something to conduit the electricity and the dense material of the metal or the plastic. So what would that be? So we've got the lamp, we've got the light bulb, and we've got the energy. Okay, so the lamp is the me, myself, right? It's the ego, the myself, the inner child is the light bulb, the imagination, and the current obviously is the I am. Now, will this light work without any of those three elements? No. Just like you cannot kill your ego. You cannot destroy the lamp and illuminate. All right. You cannot be a lamp. You can be a light bulb and you can be a current, but you cannot work as a lamp if you do not have a lamp body. Okay. So it doesn't work without all three elements, which means that your ego isn't designed to be destroyed. It's designed to be used properly, right? Your body was designed to be used properly. Okay. Now, your third eye or your inner child or your imagination or your knowing of self, your desire through a wanted perspective, not a needed perspective, right, will be a very sufficient light bulb. Okay. Now, the light bulb requires an energy to light it up. Okay. So it's going to need a stream. It's going to need that stream of energy, stream of consciousness. So all three together create a lamp that has a very specific job. You take one of those elements away, it does not work in its fullest capabilities, right? So if it's got a wonky light bulb, right, that is not working, the whole thing doesn't work together, okay? If the stream is not connecting all the way into the matter and the bulb, it will not work, okay? If there's anything faulty, it will not work. Now, sometimes, which is where I would say the footprint or the frequency of our spiritual community is right now, is it's working, which means there's a huge flow of energy coming through, but the cord is kind of like when it starts to break and it's like wonky and it's like, so the light is flashing, right? You turn it on and it's like a flickering light bulb, which is very annoying. And eventually it's going to end up in the garage, right? Or no light bulb. Where's the light bulb? Who put the light bulb, right? I don't know. I don't want a body, so I don't want my light bulb anywhere near my body. Okay, so there's that. So what we want to bring the me, myself, and I, the lamp, the light bulb, the energy source together. And we want to create an experience. I am the lamp, right? Now, in our world, the lamp is so busy looking at the toaster's paper. How come he gets to toast paper? Toast. I want that. She's looking at that guy's paper over there. And so he's not even really utilizing his me, myself, and I. He doesn't even know that there's an energy stream working with it. He doesn't even know he's got such a great job to illuminate the room because he's looking at someone else's paper over there, right? So his stream is going over there. Well, hey, look at the toaster over there, right? And one of them is looking at the past. Remember when I didn't have a light bulb and I didn't work? Everybody's judging me because I didn't have a light bulb, I didn't have my inner child there, or my inner child was broken or not working. So you look at this analogy of where we are as the Ascension. And all it takes to create a superhuman is a functioning lamp. That's it. A functioning lamp, which means all three sources are fully integrated and working in unity with self. That's it. That's our big wow factor of the Ascension. And the reason why it feels so difficult is because the energy is forcing its way in. The lamp is resisting the impact. And the inner child's light bulb has been flickered or turned down because of all the things I mentioned before, like it doesn't work. So it doesn't work without the light bulb, right? The energy works on its own. The lamp is still a lamp. It's cute. It could be a shelf piece, eye candy, but it's not a functioning lamp, right? It's a lamp, but it's not a functioning lamp. What actually makes it work is the light bulb. And the light bulb is the inner child. It is the imagination. It is the idea. It is where energy conducts into form and creates a very beautiful synergy of calculated frequency to illuminate matter. right? So here you are trying to lighten up. That's a good definition of a lamp, trying to turn on. So as we move into these higher levels, there's this just purification point. We're unpacking old baggage where the lamp had to go to therapy and say, I wanted to be the toaster. My mom let my brother be the toaster, right? And work in unity of a home. Now, understand this. The same electricity that illuminates our lamp illuminates the toaster. So once we really identify that I get to be the toaster, you get to be the lamp, we're all working together here and stop opposing forces, right? Then everything works in the house. Wouldn't that be cool if everything worked in the house? All your chargers worked, right? All your devices work. There's always like one wonky thing over there that doesn't want to work. It's like pulling energy, sucking, making everything else fried out, right? Welcome to Earth. So here we are trying to play nice together and we're living in a state of past and future in a present moment of comparison and jealousy. That does not bode well for our ascension process. So our job is to lighten up. Our job is to move back into going, okay, I'm the lamp. I am the lamp, right? My inner child's required. We need the light bulb. Where's the light bulb? Okay, the currency's right here. Let's tap into it. Let's work. And as we do that, we start to illuminate, which means that we know. We become the I am. We become the one thing in the house now that shows everything where it's at. Oh, now I can find my keys because of that lamp, right? Now I can find over here because of this lamp. Now I can read at night because of this lamp, right? So this is very important for us to not downplay the specific consciousness that we have all chosen individually. Because you don't know sometimes when you've been taught to not be a lamp, that you think your job sucked being here. Like you just want to go home. You don't think you're that good at anything. Or you think that you're so good at it, but it's not working. Like your connection is broken. And I would say that that's where most of that kind of spiritual community is where we're trying to get our integration point in. And what we got to do is we got to get sometimes not a new bulb, but we've got to fix the bulb. We've got to work with the inner child a lot to get it working in the direction of imagination. Third eye, right? So now in this beautiful, precise system of the lamp, we have a very complex body. It's nothing like a lamp. This body that we have is filled with DNA and genetics and all kinds of codes that are designed to work off of each other. And as one lights up and activates, it teaches the next string of consciousness what it is through its experience, and it evolves very, very quickly on itself. Like once you finally get that ball to the top of the hill, it starts rolling. So once you actually get into the fifth dimension, and how you know you're in the fifth dimension is if you are living a life where you are basically reconciling or recalibrating your life. Okay. If you are in a recalibration, rebooting, reinventing, analyzing, observing, learning, understanding, integrating, becoming, choosing, trusting, welcome to the fifth dimension. Okay, this is where you go to remember yourself. So this would be the place that we would send the lamp to get fixed. Okay, so right, so let's look at the ideas of dimensions in a really understandable way. So third dimension is where the lamp was created, a lamp, but no electricity, no light bulb. Right, so now it's got to get sent over here where the light bulbs are. Now it's got to get sent over here to remember that it is connection is all around it. So it's going through its journey. The fourth dimension, okay, is where the light bulb and the lamp and the electricity that's waiting to connect with it is traveling to be purchased and observed. So the fourth dimension is basically the truck that drives the lamp into the store where it goes on display to remember itself. So the store would be the fifth dimension. Okay, we're shopping. Ooh, I love shopping. So shopping center is the fifth dimension. Ooh, what do I choose? Who am I? If I choose this, who do I become? If I wear this shirt, am I cool? Am I not cool? If my hair's this color? So the fifth dimension is where we put it all back together. All of our essence, okay? And where we remember that we are everything and nothing waiting to occur. We are the stream of consciousness. We are the lamp. We are the bulb. We are everything. And we are the observer who gets to read under the lamp. So there's lots more aspects of you here. Okay. So as we integrate all of this and we become more, we also move into a stage of acceptance. So as soon as we fully accept that I am the lamp and I choose this, and I'm going to do the most awesome job that I can, now we move into a state of choosing if we want to be a lamp or not. Once we fully become the lamp and we've done the job as the lamp, now we're free to change, right? So now we go work into the workshop of imagination with super consciousness, could take the lamp all apart, put different things into it, and build something very, very cool out of it. It's more, probably a better analogy would be your smartphone. And the reason why is because your smartphone is always downloading new information. And it also gets very heavy and full if you do not clean out your information. So the lamp was the simplistic version, but the more complex quantum biological perspective of who you really are matches almost identification of your cell phone, right? Because it is a system that requires consciousness to work, Wi-Fi. It is constantly downloading new things from the cloud, right? And it is also storing things in a cloud. And it is working based on your focus. Notice how your phone, your apps, your places you use a lot, right, are the places that when you open are the first things that you see. It's your default programming, right? Now, if you have had a shopping addiction and you're trying to break that shopping addiction, and all of a sudden you open your smartphone and there's Amazon going, don't look at me, right? It's going to be the past going, remember me, don't you love me? Here's an ad, here's 50% off, okay? Because you've shopped there so many times, it's now baiting you back into it. This is why addiction is so difficult, because the body is heavy with knowledge of that pattern, of that behavior, of that knowledge of self. And when you're trying to become something else, you're going to get back on the wagon of shopaholicism, then you don't want to see Amazon pop up. So then you take Amazon app out, right? Out, no more. You're not on my smartphone. But all of a sudden, now Amazon is showing up on Facebook. Who's Facebook? Well, that guy's sitting over there. Hey, don't you want to buy this candy over here? Don't you want to buy this car? You're like, no. So now you get rid of Facebook, right? Now it's over here on Instagram. Gosh, it's over there. Now it's on Twitter. Okay, now it's everywhere. So as soon as we try to look away, which is resistance, or get rid of something before we have fixed our addiction, then we may not see the app, but now Amazon's everywhere. Everyone wants to sell us something. Instead of us going to a calculated place for our addiction, now our addiction is there and everything and everyone. And we call that our intimate relationships. So your fourth level that you're unpacking to know that I am the lamp or become the smartphone is for you to go in and reconcile your intimate relationships, right? We say, oh, no, those are the closest ones to me. Absolutely. But in essence, your intimate relationships, into me I see, is actually the frequencies of your abyss. So your intimate relationships, the ones that are the closest to you, the ones that you can't get away with, like they're like a rash, they just keep coming back, right? Your kids, your husband, your mother, your father, whoever is in your life. Now, unfortunately for consciousness, because past, present, future don't technically exist, these people could be deceased or not in your life anymore, and they could still be a byproduct of your emotional frequency now, which means if you have beef, trauma, shame, guilt attached to anyone or anything that has ever been, even if they are not in your life, they are considered an intimate because they are constantly feeding into your now moment, stealing you of joy. What steals you of joy? Humiliation, fear of, old shame and guilt, fear of, resentment in the now moment because of the past or what could be in the future. I hope you're tracking me here. So we are focused right now collectively to work in our family unit. Okay, so that would be our intimate relationships that we have had in the past and that are having now, that are like barnacles that won't go away no matter what. They keep finding their way into the present moment, If it's finding its way into the present moment, it's for your consideration. Okay, it's required. Now, do you need to mend that relationship? No. You need to mend the relationship you're having with yourself that is having a relationship with them. Hope you heard that. Your job is not to mend your relationship with him, her, them, mom, dad. Your job is to mend the relationship that you are having with yourself because of that relationship, right? It's not how to get away from toxic people. It is what part of you is attracted to toxic people. That's what we're here to reconcile, because that is just a figment of my imagination. It is just a reflection of my inner world. And in order for me to activate my 3 major plasma systems that I have to make our smartphone even smarter, we've got to use the whole phone. When I say, you're using about 10% of your brain in the present moment, which means that when you're using a smartphone, you're using about 10% of what it's capable of doing. And where that 10% is mostly shopping in the past, in comparison on social media, and worrying about the future. So you're not even using the phone to its maximum. It's ultimate unlimited potential. And it is about user. It's about the user, the observer, right? How the user uses the phone is what the phone is capable of. Same as your body, right? If we are using our bodies to think, right, then we are going to use our adrenaline in thought. That's heavy thinking, and it's strong thinking, isn't it? If we are tired, then we are going to use our serotonin to think. That's a recipe for disaster. Okay. If we are, using dopamine to check out, we are using dopamine incorrectly, right? And so we are using the body's functions and frequencies and connections and communication systems to basically utilize that 10% of going nowhere fast, right? So what we want to do is we want to go, okay, so this body has everything that is capable of not only becoming superhuman, like the superhero tales, but moving even past that into a state of full expression of light, all the way back into pure positive consciousness when I'm ready. Obviously, we all want the superhero experience first. We don't want to go back into light all the way, because then we disappear. Like, if the sun is too strong, there's no shadow. Right? You want to have a little shadow. You want to have a little backbone. You want to have a little backstory, right? So your shadow is what allows you to be dense in this plane. So you want to keep a little essence of that, kind of like know where you've gone, but don't live there. Know where you lived, but don't live there. Like, use your past as purpose. Okay. So our job is to learn how to use these darn smartphones. And if you're like me, tech is an issue. Right? There's a lot of non-interest, like, I don't care how that works. A lot of us don't even care how our brains work, but our brains are delicious. They're so amazing, but they're designed to work in coherence with whoever the observer placed is. So if it's super consciousness, it's going to work with super consciousness. Your third eye is going to be on fire, going crazy, and you're going to see what no one else can see. Now, if your ego is looking through your third eye, you're imagining wars and remembering wars and remembering being Hitler 20,000 years ago or 10,000 years. It's like, whoa, who was I? So you're using it in a more negative pathway. And what our job is to do is to neutralize all of that energy and just become the lamp and just be the smartphone that is capable of everything and anything based in where we choose, which means when it opens, it's only going to go to the apps that you choose versus the apps that you always choose that you get lured back into. Okay. So when I was saying earlier about these 3 levels of plasma, everyone's talking about the pineal gland plasma. That's going to be our superhuman activation. It's going to activate our hormones, and we're going to be like lifting up trucks over babies. Can't wait. Yes. All possible in our lifetime. Absolutely. Right. All we got to do is know that we're a lamp, right? All we got to do is reconcile the 5th dimension to become the aspect of our highest, most aligned, focal point of I know that I am self. We can't be, I wish I was, I hope I am. That's not pure positive focus. That is not quantum, is as far as what we could become. That is a quantum split. That is quantum entanglement, which means we are entangled in everybody else's life. So we feel like we're in Chinese handcuffs going over here. I got to go over here. This is your commitments, your obligations. They're all tied with our somehow wrongdoings of the past, or the version of us that said yes when we wanted to say no because we're a people pleaser, right? So we're stuck in someone else's story, right? So what we want to do is we want to move back into ourselves through the power of unpacking our own baggage, taking full responsibility, ability to respond. what we have left to do that is undone, that we are actually out of alignment with and in resistance. So your body is sick because you're not in the body. Okay? If your body is well, it is because you're in the body. If your money is not well, if your relationship is not well with money, it is because you don't know that you're money. You think money's over there. You're money. Okay? If love doesn't come easily to you, you don't know that you're love. So if I need love, then I'm always going to need love, because my focus point is going to be need, which is lack. Lack is separation. And the universe will watch you be in lack and give you more lack, because it basically reflects back to who you believe you are. So whatever it is that you need is your key here. Wherever you're lacking right now is your key to the sixth dimension. Your absolute need, your ultimate desire that is coming from lack, believe it or not, is your key to the sixth dimension. Sounds like a paradox, too far, but it's not. Because everything you're needing is where all of your unconsciousness is, right? Because your superconscious is like, we are money, we are freedom, we are love, we are everything. So it's like, your lower self is like, I am nothing without, I am nothing without, I can't do this without money, I can't go here without this person, I can't express my love without this person over here. So there's a very big gap in understanding itself. So when we come back together and we teach lower self from that place that you are love, then we start acting like love. We start pretending we are love. We start illuminating. We start working as the light bulb. And now we are the lamp that's shaped like love, right? Or the money or whatever. So we become that which we are through the I am. And the way that you find what you are not yet is where you believe you are lacking. Where you believe you're lacking is your gateway to activate your 3 levels of plasma. That is like designed like a triangle, like a stream of plasma that's going to go whoop and activate all of your DNA and move you back into a level of super consciousness in physical form, which means that you are not just a crappy light bulb that's going to dim in, a couple of weeks. You are an LED that's going to last for as long as you want to last, right? You're like sophisticated light bulbs. Okay. So just like our smartphone, we have got to get rid of the apps we are no longer using or that no longer serve us. We've got to make space. We've got to utilize this thing. We've got to work with the DNA and genetics to work them into desire, which means your genetics are just a code you start with. You can change them at any time through the power of focus, desire, through a choice of want, not lack. You cannot be in lack and get anything you want. You're in lack, you want to date somebody, you're going to get someone else in lack. Okay, you want money and you're in lack, you're going to get money attached with lack. So be careful if you are manifesting through lack. Okay, we went through this in teacher training. So we're like, duh, hello. So we want to get to the place where we need nothing but wants, adventure, excitement, experiences. And through that, we open up different apps that we didn't even know were there. We didn't even know these apps were there. And we get rid of the ones that are, causing addictions, causing us to lose all of our focus and time into playing games and watching other people live on social media. And we are now utilizing the phone to maximize our own unlimited potential, because we are learning what it is capable of by being with it and learning and studying and researching it and practicing and playing with it. Okay. So that's what the 5th dimension is. It's like a course on how to use your smartphone. This is your body, right? The Wi-Fi is your super consciousness. Okay. So, and everything that's needs to be purified is either in this cloud or that cloud. All right. This is us. This is where we are. So our war is not outside of us. It is our lower self and higher self moving into an integration point. We are walking back to ourselves. When we become like this, now the electricity, the light bulb, the lamp is the lamp. Otherwise, they're just 3 separate components that are all very, very much a purpose on their own, but together do not make a lamp. And you are here to be a superhuman being, not doing. You are here to be your most super selves. So these 3 levels of plasma, I'll show you exactly where they're located and how they're all going to merge together. All right. So there's a plasma that should not exist on this planet anyway, that is contained in your pineal gland. It is the consistency of if crystal was a plasma. Okay, so we call this the Christ consciousness, or the crystalline plasma. And it is very much not a negative or a solid. It is very much not physical or non-physical. It resides as a gateway of all, which means it is the all-knowing. It is the superconscious plasma of its own beingness. Okay, so if you ever watch that movie The Abyss and they go all the way down and there's like this weird glowing plasma, that would be your pineal gland analogy. So that is your superconsciousness. Now, there is the second level of consciousness, that is the informational consciousness of acceleration and evolution through its own knowledge of self, and that is located in your spine. Your spinal fluid is a plasma. Now, it is more electricity, and it is more about electromagnetic energy as it is as far as like empty space. It's less like super consciousness that is like gamma frequency of everything that is. And it is about merging into identification of self through knowledge and communication system plasma. Okay, so this is your spinal fluid. That's why chiropractors can be important at these times, and all those wonderful spinal adjustments and kundalini exercises, right? So this is your plasma and your connection and your communication source between your super consciousness. Now, which plasma is responsible for your lower consciousness in the body? Well, it's not your blood. Your blood is not plasma, right? Well, technically it could be, but it's not considered an actual plasma. Believe it or not, it's your lymphatic plasma. So your lymphatic plasma, where all your trash goes, your detoxification, is your lowest conscious plasma, or your lowest conscious vibration. Lymphatic. This is a key, you guys. So as we are moving forward, and some of you guys have done my quantum fitness course, but I'm about to release another one about weighting or weight density. It's all about this aspect of these three plasmas. Okay, this is the focal point of our new quantum fitness, is to work with purification of our lymphatic system. Lymphatic. Now, we want that spine, that kundalini energy, very straight so that it has a very powerful connection. We don't want our kundalini energy like this, because we're going to feel schizophrenic and bipolar. We want it like this, right? Okay, so we're going to work on that. And that is like when you go to the circus and you have to hit the big hammer, boom, and hit it all the way to the top, and it's going to go bing, and then you get a prize. Okay, that's how we're going to activate our pineal gland. Some of you are spending thousands of hours in meditation trying to activate your pineal gland by clenching your butt cheeks. It could work, or we could just do it the way that we need to and learn how to use our smartphone, because everything will work as an organic process on its own. Okay, because if I'm in a fight with my sister and I go clench my butt cheeks to get my pineal gland opened, that's not going to happen for me. Okay, so there is a system, and if you go to the doctor for carpal tunnel and he wants to snip a nerve right here so that you don't have pain in your hand, that would be the equivalent of trying to do a kundalini experience while you're in a fight with your cousin. Okay, so don't do that. Your nerves here are actually connected to every other fiber in your body, all the way down to your toes even. It's connected to a meridian system, which is information. So if I cut this and the real problem was back here or back here, that problem's not going to go away, is it? So we want to work on ourselves as a whole system, not just, the way my body looks or my money or over here. We want to look at you as one system. So one system is being worked through three different levels of plasma, 4 different levels of consciousness, and 3 aspects of self, right? Okay, so 4 levels of consciousness, 3 streams, okay, of a focal point, me, myself, and I. That equals 7. That's a 7-year cycle, which usually takes us to determine who the hell we are. And then the 3 levels of our plasma, which is our triangle and our activation point. So when we become the triangle, bing, ding, bing, bing, up and down. Now we are fully embodied super consciousness in human form. Now let's look at adrenaline. Let's look at adrenaline for what you use it right now. Right? Working out. Yeah, I'm tough. Okay. Or yelling, right? Or being upset or being worried or overanalyzing. A lot of us are overthinkers. So we're using adrenaline, which increases strength in the body 600% to overthink. Ugh. Or we're using it, first thing in the morning, coffee to get through our morning day and struggle through work. We're using that. or we're using it to argue late at night in our own heads about what we did in 4th grade, which sucks because that's going to create a huge amount of cortisol and then create a lot more density because that makes us heavy. So now let's think about all the things we just talked about. Learning how to use our smartphone, which means facing our fears of technology and ourselves and the pictures that are hidden in there. We've got to face this. Now, we've learned this, okay? So if we actually use this, let's look at the power of a hormonal adrenaline now with no worry, no confusion, no anger, no judgment, no confusion, no boredom. What do you honestly think that your adrenaline could be used for if you had none of those issues, right? And you didn't need to work out because your body was who you told it was. So you are an alchemist. So you're like, I want my body to be super fit. Cool. It is, right? There's a pharmacy in your brain that'll tell your body, hey, beefing up because I said so. So if I'm not using it to like lift iron, what am I using it for? Well, welcome to the 6th dimension. I'm going to use adrenaline to maybe fly, maybe climb a wall, maybe jump really high, maybe run really far and not get tired, right? I'm going to know how to utilize my heart even more. So don't you think I can love more? Just think about the most angry moment you guys have ever had and think about that adrenaline, that fire that was created and it made you feel so alive. You're almost like, I love it. Imagine that adrenaline was coming from your ability to love, but not from a creepy place of don't leave me, I love you, but of a place of just expansion. Right now, let's look at serotonin. Let's look at this beautiful place of wondering and experiences and understanding and allowing. Like serotonin is like my frequency of allowing. So it's like, what could you allow if you were using serotonin to allow instead of avoid, right? Or go to sleep or, whatever. Now let's look at dopamine, which usually chocolate cake. Oh, that feels good. Or, let me get some munchies going from some, THC or something. So let's look at dopamine. Dopamine is that feeling good. Can you imagine what things would feel like? Well, if you've ever taken ecstasy, welcome to your superhuman dopamine. Right? Without the crash, without the suicidal thoughts the next day. So all the drugs that we have taken in our life to feel that superhuman that we become addicted to because we love the feeling is actually inherently how the body was designed to be in all ways when you were activated, which means when your DNA went all the way ding, ding, ding to 12, activated that pineal gland, that plasma was in purification and alignment with your spinal fluid plasma and a clean path of empty space in your lymphatic system. Here we are. Now, your superhero is going to be created out of your diversity, your struggles, your limitations, and your genius. So if you have not activated your genius yet, you don't know what kind of superhero you are right now. Right now, you're super not. Right? You're not a superhero. You need a superhero. Hey, I need Superman. No, you are Superman. You are not separate from anyone else. And anyone else who is using these gifts right now, who is walking through walls or, reading in people's minds or looking inside people's bodies, which a lot of us are doing right now, are knowing the past, present, future, are only accessing bits and pieces of our system that will fully come online. Because as we move into this gateway that was fully activated, in December 21st, 2021, we were allowed to explore the 6th dimension through everything that has been birthed on the planet to show us that they are both. So our transgender community, God bless you. You are here to put a monkey wrench in the matrix and say, I am all that I am, and I am both, and I am free to be me, and I'm free to be authentic, and I choose both. Because the universe is wired in this and that. Now, they're here to put that thumb or that hold space for us to move into a potential where we could choose our own destiny, our own density, our own gender, our own gifts. Can you imagine? I want to be invisible. I want to walk through walls. Like when you were a little kid, it's like you knew what kind of superhero you wanted to be. And when you get into the 5th dimension, because of our transgender community, they are our first shapeshifters who have come here and to hold space for the rest of us to get on cue. They are the hybrids in holding that space for us to say, I am all there is, and love is the whole damn point. And I choose to love me, even though I love both. I love all of duality. I love the dark, the light, the inseparable. Now, they are the space holders and the light workers that are here, aka starseeds. Guys, You do not become superhuman until you actually bloom from that seed. You are here to bloom. This is our job. So let's get to our smartphones and face our fears. Let's clean out the apps. Let's get rid of those addictions. Let's get the me, myself, and I in a intervention of family, mom, dad, getting along, inner child, holding hands as the light bulb of the lamp, utilizing all three plasmas because we're taking good care of our bodies, right? We're working our bodies. We're retraining our I ams instead of I'm not, I am. Because if you're saying I'm not and you're asking, the universe is like, okay, you're asking for what you're not, so I'm going to give you what you're not. And rules apply of law of attraction regardless until we get to the seventh dimension, you guys. So you are going to master the art of remembering. You're going to relearn to trust yourself. You're going to be loyal to the me, myself, and I. You're going to look at your outside reflections, relationships, people, places, and circumstances as a reflection of the state of relationships of what is going on inside of you. And you're going to become more from it. So everything you're going through right now that feels like manure and fertilizer is what you're supposed to grow out of. You're a seed. You need that earthy, stinky environment right now to unpack your shell and lighten up. Go to the light. One stream, okay? One stream of consciousness moving up to the light. You are the budding flower that needs all of the energy to be one thick strand, okay? One bud that needs to pop through the surface, and then you can bloom out, right? So then you can go wherever you want, and then you can create hybrid frequencies out of that, because I am that I am. I am the rose bush, so here I am. But now I'm going to germinate over here and become over there, and now I'm over here. So this is where it gets really fun, as long as you are focused on acceptance. Okay, I'm the lamp. Great. What can my lamp do? I didn't know my lamp could fly. Cool, right? So just accept, self-love, repurpose all of your baggage into potential, right? Rework it, which means that if everything is happening now, the past does not hold you captive to the present moment. You are using it as a focal point, a stream. And when you're focused in three ways, past, present, future, the universe will always give you a perfect reflection of all three streams. You're going to get your past manifested. You're going to get future aspects manifested, like what you want that other people are getting. Like, hey, how did he get that new car when I asked for it? And then you're going to get a little bit of what you want in the present moment, which is only usually about 10%. So it's like, ooh, I really need $10,000 to go on that trip. And the universe is like, well, 20% of you is focused on you shouldn't go on the trip because it's a waste of money. 20% of you is afraid you're going to get COVID if you go on the trip. And then the rest of you is worried about spending the money in the now moment. So what do you think the universe is going to provide for you? This is why it's time for us to learn how to use these darn things. And guess who we have to ask? Our younger population. Because they're like, I called my daughter. She's 23. I just got this new iPhone 12. And I'm like, ooh, for three cameras. It's like, ooh, I saw it as like a triangle of an integration point. That's the only reason I bought it, because I don't know anything about phones. And I called her and I'm like, you got to help me. And she's like, her eyes just roll. She's like, user error. I'm like, how does this work? She's like, oh my gosh, Mom, go on YouTube and learn how it works. And I'm like, can't you just tell me? She's like, no, you have to practice. You have to learn how to use it. I cannot tell you. I can tell you where to go, but I cannot tell you how to use it. You've got to practice it. Now, that's my job as a life coach, right? I can tell you how to use this lamp, all this idea, but I cannot force you into practicing how it works, because basically you're here to design it how you want. She said this to me. She said, Mom, the iPhone 12 is designed to become you. So it's going to learn from you. It's also going to learn where you're not good with it, and it's going to show you that, right? So it was interesting that I was like, great, metaphor, okay? So here we are, iPhone 12. Isn't it interesting? 12 dimensions, 12 helix of DNA. Interesting. Okay, so let's let go of all of our resistance of the outside world and start dealing with the resistance on the outside triggers on the inside. Your job is to work on your triggers and your inspirations, because your triggers are coming from your unconscious self and your inspirations are coming from your superconsciousness. Your inspirations should never be looked at through comparison. They should be looked at as a marker to follow. You're getting warmer. And triggers should be dealt with on the inside, okay? A trigger from your outside does not mean F you, I hate you. It means, what is it about me that was dormant like a time bomb that you so easily activated with your tone of voice. That is something I need to reconcile. And then when I am in unity of me, myself, and I may have beautiful relationships with other superheroes. And I'm Wonder Woman. I don't want to be Superman. So now we can all work together and create a planet that this planet Earth deserves, because she is the living library and she houses every potential of the universe here in physical form. It is the one planet that is the closest to every other multiverse through fractals of portholes and wormholes. The Earth is, and she is in the perfect place to be preserved for all that she has ever been and will be through her expansion, through de-ascension and re-ascension. And as we move into the sixth dimension, she becomes more, we become more, and we became worthy of her expansion, and she becomes aware of ours. So we are all here to play nice, and first and foremost, we are here to reconcile the parts of ourselves that do not think that others play nice with us. And that's where we are. This is a lot for July. Hopefully you got a nugget or two. If you loved what I say, give me a thumbs up. Follow my YouTube channel. We're always aiming to please. If you think I'm a nutty, weirdo, cool too. I'm good with it because I know who I am. And if you want some more training, we have our website, jessicaalstrom.com, the Quantum Method. And I do all forms of different levels of training, from beginners to do it yourselves to advanced sixth dimensional training. We're doing teacher training right now. I've got workshops developed for the I Am to integrate the lower consciousness, which is the warrior training. And I also have a new one coming out called Quantum Fitness, where we're going to be focusing on that idea of those plasma connections. And that's going to be working on weight issues. Whether you're waiting in physical reality or you're dealing with weight issue, it's all the same. If you're broke out there, you're broken here, that's a body thing. Okay. If you're feeling not seen and heard, you think that's an ear thing, it's a body thing. Right? If you don't feel safe, you think it's your environment, it's a body thing. So Quantum Fitness, we're going to be working from the inside out to change our outside world as a reflection. And I was at the movies yesterday and we were watching Black Widow, which I got all fired up about. And I love the superhero movies. And there was one of those clips for one of the movies coming up. And there's a new Ryan Reynolds movie, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's all about how he realizes that he is in virtual reality. And it's very interesting because you can tell it's written by our new generation, because this is what they say a lot. Well, if everything is meaningless and this is a video game, what's the point? And he literally said that in the movie. And I was like, oh my gosh, everyone needs to watch this, because it's kind of like it's almost like if Deadpool and the Matrix and then like a cartoon all blended together and made a movie. So that is like what this movie is about. And it's about him realizing that he is in a video game, and then him saying, yeah, but I'm in a video game and it's meaningless and life is meaningless, but these experiences that I'm having and these people that I have, that's real. And it was very cool, because a lot of times as we look and see that we are in the matrix, we think, what's the point? If everything is meaningless, shouldn't I just give up? Right? Or let go and become a flow, let go the dam that's holding back the river, and love as much as you can love, regardless of who loves you back. Do as much as you want to do, regardless of what comes of it. Create no matter what you make from it. Be the most that you can be and have the most wild ride that you can. Because if this is a video game, well, there's a reason why the video game industry is $1 billion business, because it's fun. You came here to have fun. You didn't come for a long time. You came for a good time. So let's do this. Now, as we move into the sixth dimension, that long time that ego is terrified of its time is running out starts to extend, because, if I'm not using adrenaline to overthink, then my body is not aging as fast as it could. It's not destroying itself, which means it's regenerating, which means that maybe I am here for a long time. Maybe I'm here for as long as I want. So ponder that. Join us if you want. We've got lots of stuff coming on. 2022, we will be going back on tour. Looks like Spain is a go. It looks like Mexico is a possible go. And even Australia could be a go. Europe, we're waiting on you. Let's work on that plasma, okay? Let's get us back in there, because we miss all of you, and we would like for you to come out. And the way we're going to do that is let go of resistance of ourselves. Look at interesting things, guys. Look at what chakra represents Europe. right? Look at where the chakras are, because the human body's got chakras. You know, United States got chakra. I'm in the middle. I'm in the heart center in Kansas. And the whole planet has a chakra system. So let's look at the places that are the most repressed right now as far as their freedom goes. And let's look and see where chakras we could all work with right now individually through our own reflection of our own smartphone or our own lamp, depending on what analogy resonated with you more. Okay, so that's my feedback for July. I will see you all in the classroom or in our activation. We've got a new light language activation coming up that's designed to basically explode your baggage. And so that you have to pick up all your pieces. It's like my dad said to me, you want to play a 52 card pickup? I said, yeah. He threw 52 cards on the floor and made me pick them up. So that's what the light language activation is that you don't know where your baggage is. We're going to find it. We're going to shake you up using light language and frequency to basically out all of your stuff that's going to put it on the outside. That sounds really embarrassing, but you know what? Not being able to find it because you don't remember where you hid it so no one would find it is worse. And it's also going to help move that Kundalini energy up through that first level of your root into your heart activating your brain. You know what's in the way? Between your brain and your heart being on the same page, loving regardless of who loves you back, loving unconditional without conditions, not being afraid of the past or worried about the future. Do you realize what gateway of your body is in the way of you loving like a child? Your throat. That's why we're activating your light language through your throat chakra, and we're going to open up the pipes and we are going to let down the dam so that you can move into that freedom. So basically, it's us learning how to use our smartphone through frequency activations. It's a 4-week class, or not a class. It's a I don't know. It's a communion. It's a group, and we're working in the energy of the void. So if you look at the alchemy symbol, okay, the alchemy symbol is, I don't know. There's a triangle and circle in the middle. Circle in the middle is the void. The void is where all of your potential is, right? Your triangle is your connection, me, myself, and I, right? So here we are as the alchemists using the void to transcend and to create, okay? So that's July. Can't wait for August. It's going to be extra juicy probably because we are all getting really good at unpacking this baggage thanks to those beautiful retrogrades. Retrograde is like, nope, go back to your bags and unpack it. You're still too heavy. You cannot get on the plane. And we all want to get on the plane, don't we? Okay, so here we are. Thank you guys so much for visiting me and letting me be in your home and talking about lamps and smartphones and superheroes, because really at the end of the day, you're here for joy. You're here to play. And as soon as you lighten up, everything starts to make sense because you're not analytically analyzing your wrist. You're seeing that your wrist is connected to your spine, and you are now not in your right and wrong, black and white. You are in understanding that you are a system that is designed to be both. All right. All right, guys. Have a great week. See you next month, or I will see you in class next week.